Okay, this is going to help guide you through for the end of the year to get your items back from your students that you've checked out. Both their calculators, maybe their medical kits, and their textbooks. Anything that's been checked out through Textbook Tracker. Here's a timeline for that. On Friday, May 10th, all books are due back to you, so that way you can get them checked in. That's a Friday. On Tuesday, May 14th at 2:45 p.m. is the last day for you to enter fines into Textbook Tracker. So if they bring it in anytime before that and you notice that there's a fine on there, or not a fine, but there's a damage on there, you can charge them up to that point until 2:45. After that, it's a little bit different. Okay, because at 2:45 p.m. we're going to export out of Textbook Tracker and import that into the finance software that they have for the front office for the school. Okay, books that are returned after May 14th at 2:45 p.m., if they get returned and there's no damage to them and they're being cleared for the full fine, you'll need to give them a fine clearance form because we will have already exported out of Textbook Tracker and the finance office will have that they owe for it. So if you check it in at 3 p.m. that day, the finance office won't know that because we will have already exported out of Textbook Tracker, and so they won't know that they shouldn't be charged for that book. So you'll need to give them a fine clearance form. So let's look at it on the calendar. Friday, May 10th, all textbooks are due. At this point, at 11:59 p.m., so at this night, it actually changes and all the books that are still out to the students will get checked out to lost. And the students will be charged for the cost of the books. Or whatever item that they have. Now that'll give us 2 days, the 13th and the 14th. That'll give us 2 days to still get books checked back in and to get the students cleared of those fines. Now if you check a book in on the 13th and it's already been checked out to lost, that's okay. All you have to do is book drop it. It'll say, has it been found? Yes, it's been found. It'll clear them for the fine automatically, and that's the last thing you have to worry about it. And it's already been checked in. After 2:45 p.m., you're going to have to write them a fine clearance form. Okay, and we'll come back to the calendar in just a little bit. So how do you assess a fine on an item? They've had the item out, they've had one of your textbooks out, and they've colored on it. And how do you charge them? Now here's what we've come up with, trying to be fair to both the school and to the student. If it has water damage on it, they've dropped it in the toilet or the bathtub, or they left it out and it was on the grass and it got sprinkled on, but it's now soaked, it's got water damage, that's a full replacement cost. A broken spine, full replacement cost. Between $5 and full replacement cost. We had to look at that and decide, is that something that can still be used? Is it something that the next person was going to have problems with? Okay, writing on the pages between about $1 per page, up to the full replacement cost. So if they've colored on 20 of the pages, it's obviously that's not a book that we're going to be able to recover. And if they've done it in permanent marker, that's there, and that's not a book that we want to give out to another student, especially some of the words they might have drawn on there. Okay, the cover of the book, so the book cover, the separated or damaged, if it's come off, between $5 and the full replacement cost. Some of those things, if it comes off nice and neatly, we can actually repair it. Other things, if it doesn't come off nice and neat and it's destroyed, it might have destroyed the thing, so it might be full replacement cost. A missing or damaged barcode is $3. That's like the cost for it, some time to get it back onto there and get it back into the system. Now here's what you got to be careful of. The times that I found damaged barcodes, but not damaged, but missing barcodes, it's usually been a student who's lost theirs. This is my theory. They've lost theirs. They found someone else's book and they're claiming it as their own, but because the barcodes aren't the same, they've ripped off the barcode and said, "Oh, this is my book. I promise." And you just have to kind of take it for as their word that it is. Someone else might be paying for their book, and that's sad. So just know that does happen, or it could happen. Okay, missing pages, the full replacement cost. Now the calculators, there are two different covers on calculators. There is a front cover and a back cover. Now the front cover is $8, and it covers the keys. The back cover is what covers the batteries. And so if that's missing, we'll just charge them $5. Now they won't be the same color as we get them because we can't get the yellow anymore, but But we want to be fair to the school, but we also want to be fair to the students on that. And so just use your judgment on what needs to be charged and what doesn't need to be charged. It would be sad to see that you not charge them for it, that book stays in circulation, and then the next person who didn't do it gets charged for it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, after all textbooks are due, so on that Friday, the 10th of May, after they're all due, you need to have the software on your computer. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. You cannot use the web-based application to check books in. It won't recognize that it's coming in. And so you'll need to use the textbook tracker software. To get that on your computer, it works and you can put it on PCs fairly easily. To put it onto a Mac, because Mac has changed their OS architecture, it's much more difficult. And it actually takes some time with tech support to get it on there. And so it'll take 20 minutes to half an hour of our time, your time, my time, and tech support time to get that onto there. So PCs are easy. So you might need to design or designate somebody in your department who will be checking all the books in and doing that. But that's up to you on how you guys want to handle that. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. When the books are now checked out to Lost and they bring you the item, you can go, okay, you need to drop the drop-down menu to book drop that they've returned the book. Now at this point you can either type in the barcode or you can scan in the barcode, either which way you want to do it. It's going to bring up whoever had it checked out. Okay, first thing it's going to say it was lost, has now been found. Yes, I've got it in my hand, it's now found. Now it brings up on the left-hand side, it brings up the patron, and then on the right-hand side, it's the book that's just been returned. Now you can see that there's a replacement cost of $75. That's what you're going to be writing down on the fine clearance form. The last 4 digits of the book, of the barcode, and the title of it. Okay, the next one that we enter in is it's been lost, has been found. Yes, it's been found, but we just noticed that it's missing something. It's missing the back cover, the battery cover. If you remember, that was a $5 fee. So you can forgive the amount of the fine clearance. You can just, if you're writing out the thing, you can just forgive them for $124. Or if you do it beforehand, forgive them for the full amount. But then you're going to go down to charges and charge a fee, and then you need to put in there what it's for. You can say, this fee is for a missing battery cover on the calculator. So calculator, missing cover. Then you're going to put in the amount, which is a $5 fee for that, which is the cost it costs us to get them. And then they're not paying you anything, and so you just press OK down at the bottom. Okay. The next one that we scan in, this is a book. After we scan it in, we notice that, okay, it's lost, has it now been found? Yes, it's been found. We now notice that it's missing, or that, not missing pages, but it has some writing on the pages, something that we think that we can get off. So we're okay, there's on 5 of them. We think it's in pencil, we can erase that. So we're like, okay, here's the amount. You are going to owe $5, $1 per page that you've written on. We hit okay. Okay, now if we look at this, you notice that they have a calculator charge and a writing on pages charge. So they have a total of $10 that's being charged to their account. Now you have that. Now you need to, now if it's before the 2:45 on Tuesday, you don't have to write a fine clearance form. You're good. You don't have to do this next part. But if it's after that point, you need to write a fine clearance form to them. And you'll get this information off of Textbook Tracker. So you'll write in the student ID number, you write in the student's name, their grade, the title of the book. You write all those things onto there. Now, as you book drop them, just check and make sure that student A brought back a book for student A. Sometimes student A brings back student B's book accidentally. And so at that point, you'd write this out for student B, okay? For the one whose book was actually being returned, not for student A. And you need to tell student A, go find your book. This belongs to somebody else. Go find your book. So you'll write this out for student B, and then you'll hold on to this. Don't give it to student A, just hold on to it. Now, you don't have to give these to the students. You can actually hold on to them and take them down to the finance office if you'd like to do that. If you do give it to the student, tell them it's like cash. Tell them that if they lose a $20 bill, the federal government's not going to come back and say, here's $20. I know you've lost your $20 bill. They just go, that sucks. Now, we can look it up, but it's best And it's easiest for all if you just tell them it's like cash and they treat it a little bit nicer and then they bring it in. But things happen. Sometimes they go through the wash, and so we can look them back up, but we want to save as much time for the finance office as we possibly can. And so tell them it's like cash, or hold on to it yourself and then take it to the finance office yourself. Okay, let's look again at the calendar. So this is the calendar for May. Now we have all the textbooks due back on the 10th, on that Friday. Now the reason why we do that, let me give you some reasoning behind our thoughts on this. The 10th gives us an A day and a B day to have books come back in after they're all due without you having to write a fine clearance form. And so that gives you an A day and a B day to get it back. Now one of the things that we run into is we notice that, as you notice, AP tests are still going on. This is during the second week, the end of the first, and during the second week of AP testing. But AP testing started a little later this year. It's the first 2 full weeks of May, but they didn't start until the 6th. So what we run into is due back on the 10th. We have 2 days to get them in without having to write a fine clearance form. At 2:45, I export out of Textbook Tracker all the fines and fees, so that way we can get it into the finance system in the front office. So that happens. We export it out at 2:45, and we get that in. It gives them the 15th, that Wednesday, to put everything together, to get the fee slips and everything all put together so they can get them out to the teachers. We hand them out on the 16th. Now, from the 16th, the 17th, the 20th, and the 21st, these are all days that the students are now trying to find all of their books that they have checked out. They're like, oh, I didn't realize I had that checked out. Okay, I got to find it. And so they're now trying to find it so we can get them cleared so they can go to the dinner dance and to Lagoon. So we're trying to get them cleared by this point. And so that gives them 3 days to find their books and get them back in. That's why we had to do it so early, so it gives them enough time to do what we need to do and gives enough time for the students to do what they need to do. Now, if you have any questions on this and if you need help, feel free to come down and talk with us in the library. Yeah, we'll be happy to help you out.